Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice. Simple steps for showing up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. I am grateful to be with you. And man, do I have a learning for you. I actually had one of the most profound learnings of my life the other day. Trying to think. It probably is one of the most profound learnings of my life. It's up there. It's like in the top 3, maybe top 5. And how cool it is, how important it is, and how pertinent it is to this episode and how I want to relay and previous episodes. So going back, I don't remember which episode it was, a week or two ago, I was talking about spinning versus attacking. As with most of these episodes, they come by way of experience. So I'm going to tell you my learning, my experience, and impart on you a little piece of my brain. I was out on my bike. I've been doing that lately. I've been doing that a lot lately. I've had such a key emphasis on my physique. I shaped a physique by going from 215 to 230. I learned I don't really like 230, and now I'm on my way back to 215. But I want to retain some muscle mass, so I might even be like 217. We'll see. But I'm curating my meal plan heavily. I'm curating my cardio heavily. I'm curating the times that I eat heavily to shape my physique into what I want. I'm just chiseling away. And I'm so grateful to have a body that responds and reacts to the things I command it to do. But part of that command is cycling 3 days a week. Do I love it? Not really. Do I enjoy it though? Yes. It is fun to get on the road. It is fun to make it over these hills and these peaks and these troughs and the hills, the descending hills, and going fast and slaving up. It's fun to me. It's a challenge. And I like making internal games, just like spinning versus attacking, where I got my best time, 58 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, since that time, I decided to see what happens if I go in the opposite direction. Because I go clockwise in this loop. And on the spinning versus attacking episode, I attacked pretty much everything. I got home from that ride with basically an asthma attack. I was purely exhausted. I think I ended up taking a nap like 30 minutes after. I depleted that much energy on that ride. Well, I went in reverse loop. And would you guess what? It was faster. Think about that. Same track, same equipment, same tools, same body, same time of day, same everything. But I went in the opposite direction. And my time? 57 minutes exactly. I saved 90 seconds on my best time. I want you to really take that in. The only thing that I changed was I went in a reverse direction. Maybe you're on the right track. Maybe you have the right tools, the right equipment, the right amount of water, the right amount of resource, the right connections. Maybe you're doing it at exactly the right time, but you're going in the wrong direction. Maybe you need to change direction, whatever that means in your life. Think about that. And then that might make all the difference. Just change direction. So cool. And then fast forward a couple days. I was talking to my wife. There's 3 ways I can get back to my house. I live up on the mountain, and no matter which way I slice it, I'm going to do about 800 feet of climbing because I've got to climb a monster hill to get to my house. But there are 3, there's a total of 4 tracks, but 3 main tracks on the clockwise loop. 1, 2, and 3. 1 is by far the hardest. Grossly the hardest. And it's the hardest because most of that 800-foot climb is in 2 sections. And then option 2 is a little bit easier because it's drawn out a little further. And then option 3 is the easiest. Now, they all are very difficult. They all require the same climb because it's the same endpoint. but it's different ways up the mountain. One is straight up. It's kind of like one being straight up versus one being back and forth. And I was talking to my wife and I said, hey man, this road right here, Palisade Rose, oh my goodness, such a beast of a hill. And I said, but there's two other routes, but I always take Palisade. She said, why do you take Palisade? And my immediate natural thought was, because it's harder. I like the burn. I like the pain. It's harder. I choose to do the harder thing. And then she looked at me and just said, you're a sick individual. And we went about our drive. Well, that next morning, I went for my regular ride, going clockwise. And halfway through the ride, I was pondering this conversation. And I was pondering, oh my gosh, why do I take the hardest route? Because in my mind on the route, like maybe I should take another route. And I immediately fired back with, no, don't be a little punk. Do the hard thing. Take the hard route. Take the hard choice. The hard choice. That's even the name of my podcast. The hard choice. It's that. It was that ingrained in me. That program was so deep that I shamed myself if I didn't take the harder path. And so in that moment, I decided, just takes a decision. For one, how has it served me? How is taking the hard path served me? Because everything serves you. And what's the secondary gain? For everything in your life that you deem unresourceful, that you do habitually, you do this because there's a secondary gain. Something is gained on the back end. And I thought about that. And I thought, whenever I do the harder thing, that's an ego boost. That is a self-aggrandizing, self-confidence boosting ego boost. People see that and say, man, he just did the hardest thing possible. And he did it well. Not only that, but like he did it really well. He did it better than people that do the easier route. That's been kind of my whole life. Doing the harder thing and doing it more efficiently, better than people doing it the easier route, if they even do it at all. Beyond that, what have I learned? How has it served me doing the hard thing? I've been taught grit, determination, fortitude, endurance, painstaking endurance. I know what it means to give it your all. I truly do. I think most people, when it comes in a physical aspect, they don't know what it means to give it their all because they've never been put in a position where everything was required. I have ridden a bike up a mountain to the point that my body locked up and I fell over. More than once. I have had it to where I was descending from a mountain and everything locked up and I went down because of it. I have had it on a run, an Ironman, that everything locked up and I collapsed because I was giving it my all. And then you stand up and you keep going. Because what happens when you lock up on the top of a mountain? You still got to get down. And so you take a brief moment of recovery and you do your best to finish what you started. And that's what I've done. I know what it means to give my all mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically. I know what that means. That is such a superpower. And then I had the thought, I resolved all this and I had the thought, imagine taking the easier path with that fortitude, grit, determination, endurance, ability to give it my all. How much faster would I be getting to where I'm trying to go? And in this case, getting home. So I pushed and I still attacked everything, but I was more efficient with my speed. I was more conservative with my energy and explosive when it needed to be explosive. But I didn't sprint to the point of needing to take a nap 30 minutes after. I took the easiest route. And as I was going home, I said, man, this is significantly longer in distance. I wonder what time I'll get home at. I pulled into my driveway, and as I was approaching, I realized there was an even faster path. But I wanted to see what it was like if I stayed on the road, because that path goes through some trails, through some neighborhoods. So I wanted to see first and foremost what that path looked like from the road. I got home in 57 minutes and 42 seconds. I was a full 45 seconds, I guess 47 seconds, 48 seconds, faster than my best time in the clockwise loop. 47 seconds. That's a lot. And then I looked at the distance. I went half a mile further. Instead of 17 miles, I went 17.5. So not only was I faster, I went further. So I was grossly faster by taking this easier route. I still got to the same destination, having gone a greater distance in a shorter time, because I took the route that was easiest. I greased the skids. Where in your life are you choosing the difficult path purely because it's in your program? Where in your life? Because I'm sitting back and saying, oh, if it's here, then it's literally everywhere. And then I had a chuckle that my podcast is even called The Hard Choice. It is, or was, thoroughly ingrained into my psyche. The next day, I went to a contrast therapy event with about 40 people. That's when you do sauna and cold plunge, back and forth. And I got into the cold plunge, and I keep my hands above the water because I have a thing called Raynaud's syndrome. And that keeps the valves in my hands from, they don't always work. So when my hands get really cold, like from a cold plunge, it is supremely difficult for my body to warm up. Even being in a sauna won't really do it. And it takes a long time. And I had my hands above water, but everybody else's was underwater. And I had the thought, you should probably put them underwater because it's the much harder task. Prove to yourself you can do it. And then I immediately thought, what's the end goal? The end goal is to bring my core temperature down. Will putting my hands in the water bring it down further? No. Which one's the easier path? Keeping them out. I will keep them out. I am actively and intentionally choosing the easiest path possible now in all aspects of life. I have greased the skids everywhere. And then not only that, I resolved it and thanked my history. I thanked my unconscious to this point in my life, all 36 years, today years old, well, a few days ago years old, for the grit and the determination and the learnings I had from always choosing the hard path. It no longer serves me. This path of entrepreneurship that we're on, it's already hard enough. You don't need to make it harder. And in fact, one of my mentors that same day released a message that stated, don't make things harder than they need to be, than they already are. This path of entrepreneurship, it's already the hardest path there is. There's no need to make it harder. Nobody's handing out gold stars. You're not going to get a medal. And in fact, you're just making the path longer and far more painful. So, what a perfect response to my learning. In your life, where are you making things hard purely for the sake of making them hard? Where can you make things easier? Sometimes a lot easier. Next time I do that same loop, I'm going to go through the neighborhood. I'm going to see how much faster, because it will be a lot faster, like minutes faster. But how much is the distance? Will I be returning back to the 17 miles, the same as the original loop, but minutes faster, not 48 seconds faster? I want you to audit your life. I want you to audit how you do things. Are you choosing the hardest path because it makes you feel good, makes you look cool, it boosts your ego, it aggrandizes your unconscious? Or do you choose the easy path because it's about getting to where you're going smoothest, most efficient, and quickest? This is a race. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We live in a finite world with a finite amount of time. The faster you get to where you're trying to go, the more you can do. That I assure you, and that I promise you. I want you to have this conversation with your friends and your family. I want you to show up in your life. in maximum efficiency. Take all that grit, fortitude, endurance, speed. I want all of it packed into the most efficient route, and then really see how fast you can go. Find me on socials, Mr. Brad Draper. Like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.